All right, everyone. The very competent FBI, yes, at it again in Billings, Montana. This time, they seized several pounds of methamphetamine from some dealers, and they decided to incinerate it. Now, this is something that astonishes me. Apparently, it is standard practice for the FBI once in a while to incinerate collected drugs at veterinary places because they have incinerators at some of them incinerate the dead bodies, of course. And normally this system is vented. That is that, of course, the material, the smoke and so forth is being pushed out of the room. This time, though, it looks like they failed to switch on the outgoing pressure in order to do that because they do that specifically for the drugs because for obvious reasons. They will become more obvious when I explain what subsequently happened. Normally it's vented out and normally the heat level, I guess, on the incinerator is actually turned down in order to not cause any particularly high concentration of toxins, which is what meth is, getting released anyway. I guess it degrades it. Like you could do this with LSD, for example. I mean, its point of inactivity is fairly low. It doesn't take a very high temperature to destroy LSD molecules. I'm not sure about the chemistry behind methamphetamine, or why a lower temperature would cause it to not release so much of the toxic fumes. I'm not 100% sure. I never used hard drugs. I knew better. But what happened is that the vapors began entering the main area where all of the animals were being kept. The live ones, by the way, not the dead ones. And because what happened is they were burning outside right next to the intake fan. The outgoing fan wasn't on though, so it just, filtered into the area, and all the workers got sick and got taken to the hospital. All the animals had to be removed. Very, very interesting. I don't understand how they could make such a critical error. I mean, when you're talking about, I mean, if it was like weed, then the workers would just be happy for the rest of the workday, I suppose, and the animals would get the munchies. So, you'd run out of snacks. You'd have to send somebody to the store, and you'd have to call somebody in who didn't get high off the weed to do it because otherwise you're facing a DUI. That would have been funny. That'd be a good comedy skit. Hell, this is kind of funny too. That the FBI can't even figure out how to incinerate drugs without getting people high. I wonder if any of the agents got high. I wonder if any of them, found themselves a little extra daily boost. Wow, I feel great, man. Yeah. That would be funny. Imagine if it was crack. They go in, they do the incineration. Maybe they're all outside. They don't realize what's going on inside. Everyone's slowly getting high on crack fumes. And then they go in, say, oh, yeah, it's done. Wait, what? And then people are just staggering around, muttering and doing crazy shit and spazzing out on the floor. Leave it to the FBI. Normally, I would suggest that something else be done. And you can actually watch. There was that one famous, I think it was an Australian broadcast where they had ripped out a bunch of weed plants from an illicit grow, and the reporter was reporting on it and kept getting the smoke all over him, so he was becoming steadily more and more stoned. And I think he wandered off at the end, like gibbering to himself because he could barely talk and walk. Actually, I can't remember. I think that was Australia. But as long as it's in a proper situation, wouldn't you build like, let's say you build a large incineration system out in the middle of nowhere. Wouldn't that be a little bit easier? I mean, it makes more sense. Put it out in the middle of Farmville where there's nobody around or something like that. Hell, why don't you just steal the drugs like normal cops do? Yeah, steal them from lockup and say, yeah, yeah, wait, look at this list here. Says we should have 15 pounds of marijuana. Why are there only 14 pounds in here? I just weighed it, because I was going to take my cut. Who else took a cut? I want to know. Then everyone raises their hand. That's probably how it works too. If the FBI is incapable of incinerating drugs in a safe manner and is having to basically borrow incinerators from veterinary departments, I would think that this points to a continuing pattern that we've seen lately, where Every time there's a mass shooting or some tragedy, the person was on the FBI's radar and they didn't do anything about it. Meanwhile, they'll knock down your door if somebody smells the wrong smell at the wrong time and throw a bunch of flashbangs through your windows because of an anonymous tip and shit like that. You've got swatting and stuff like that. Not just the FBI, but local PDs, stadies, and sheriff's offices and stuff like that. It happens all the time. You're a harmless person, you get, maybe shot or at least, pinned on the ground, cuffed and detained for an extensive period of time and questioned as though you were a criminal. But if you, do something terrible, the FBI probably knew you were going to do it and just ignored you. Happens frequently. So, I mean, and also, with the security lapse with Trump's almost assassination. FBI was there, of course, always is. You've had numerous big ass mistakes over and over. The little ones like this, nobody died. The animals, I'm assuming, didn't die. They've apparently been placed elsewhere, so they all got homes for a while. But it shows incompetence, gross incompetence. And what moron doesn't check if you know that air is being sucked into the building right next to where you're doing the incinerating, you would think that you would also have something to vent it back out. Or, I don't know if they can do this mechanically. I'm not, an engineer, but couldn't you just cover the intake fan as well while you're doing your incinerating? I don't know if there's a compelling reason why you couldn't, so I'm not sure. Maybe somebody with a degree in engineering can elucidate that for me. I thought this was funny, but it's also concerning that such a basic bitch error and many, many other recent errors can be done in such a short span of time. That's about all. Peace out.